Welcome to the Budgeting Workshop, brought to you by Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Rho Omega Chapter. I am Denise Mason, and I will be facilitating this session today. Budgeting is a key part of building and maintaining financial strength. No matter what your personal financial situation is, knowing how to create and use a budget will help you better manage your money and get closer to reaching your financial goals. So let's get started. Today, you will learn many skills that will help you manage money and improve your overall understanding of how to achieve and maintain financial health. Let's review our workshop goals today. In this workshop, you will explore the importance of creating and maintaining a budget, examine the differences between wants and needs, and set goals for spending, saving, and debt repayment. Managing and improving your personal finances are achievable goals. This session will teach you some steps and strategies to budget wisely and productively. Budgeting is a big part of personal financial management. Before we dive in and talk about building and using a budget, let's talk about what a budget is and what it is used for. First, we will begin with the what, why, and when of budgets. Then, in the next section, we will explore the how. So, what is a budget? The word budget has a couple of meanings. It can mean an estimate of income and expenses for a set period of time. It can be a financial roadmap or a way to plan for and track your spending or savings. Developing a budget can help you identify ways to reduce your spending and or increase your savings. For example, I budgeted $300 this month for groceries. So why should we use a budget? A budget helps you see exactly what you're spending money on. It helps you determine how much money you spend on certain things such as rent and utilities. And it can help you create a savings plan or allocate a certain amount of money for a specific purpose. And it can also help identify ways to pay off credit cards and other debts. So when should you use a budget? Budgets can be used regularly to help you maintain good financial practices, or they can be used to help you achieve a specific goal, such as saving for a new computer or a wedding reception. Creating and using a budget or financial plan can be helpful in identifying ways to improve your financial situation. Should make you more aware of your financial habits and may help you find ways to decrease debt and save for the future. Building a budget does not have to be complicated. There are 5 basic steps to build a budget, and many of you are probably already taking some of these actions. So let's review how to build a budget. Step 1 is get organized. Locate and organize financial documents. Do you know where your important financial documents are, such as your tax returns, W-2s, bills, and loan documents? Do you have a system to keep these documents organized so that they are easy to find? Where do you safely store these documents? Have you identified how long to keep them before throwing them away, or if necessary, shredding them? Let's take a look at step 2, list income. How much money is earned each month after taxes from a paycheck, Social Security, or other means? Do you know how much money you make each month after taxes? Your income may come from sources such as wages, tips, public assistance, child support, alimony, or Social Security. Now let's look at step 3, list expenses. How much money is spent each month and on what? Do you know how much money you spend each month? Do you spend most of your money on necessities such as rent, car payments, childcare, insurance, and groceries? Or do you spend more than you should on wants, such as meals at restaurants or clothing? Now let's take a look at step 4, savings. How much money is set aside for savings? Do you have any money left over after your expenses each month? Do you know how much you set aside each month for savings? Do you have any savings accounts or other methods for saving? And step 5 is list debts. How much money is owed to creditors? Do you have any loans, mortgages, credit cards, student loans? Do you know how much debt you owe? When you have collected all of the necessary documents, you can begin to build your budget. But first, let's look at an example to understand how to prepare and make a budget. We can use Marta's story to learn some strategies to get organized. Marta is a 40-year-old woman who works 2 jobs, one at a grocery store and another as a hostess at a restaurant. Marta often feels overwhelmed by her large debt. She also paid bills late in the past. One reason is that her personal finances are not very organized. Let's see how the 5-step plan can help her better understand her options, behaviors, and solutions. Marta recognized that her old system of paying bills wasn't working because she often missed due dates and incurred late fees. She decided to develop a system that would work effectively each month to help her stay on top of her bills. She collected all of the paperwork related to her monthly income and expenses so that her financial documents would all be in one place. So that's one important aspect. She decided to use a file folder and in a box to dedicate for this specific purpose. She found a few recent months of pay stubs, bills, and receipts, and then printed out her credit card and bank statements from her online accounts. In this activity, we'll identify the documents that Marta might need to make her budget. Remember, she only needs documents that will help her keep track of her spending and earning. So take a look at this list. It's pretty comprehensive, but there's certain things on here that Marta is going to need to build her budget. Marta needs her credit card statements, bills, loan statements, and receipts to show her debt and expenses. She also needs her pay stubs, bank statements, and social benefit receipts to fully show her income. Once Marta has organized all of her financial paperwork in a separate and labeled folder, she has completed step 1 and has all of the information she needs to continue through steps 2 through 5 of the budgeting plan. Now, let's take a look at Marta's budget. Marta's sample budget will help you learn how to build, use, and manage a personalized budget. We just learned how Marta completed step 1, get organized, of the 5-step budgeting process. Next, we will examine the remaining budgeting steps and learn how Marta has used them. So first, let's talk about income. Income refers to the amount of money earned from almost any source, such as a paycheck, Social Security, or other social benefits. Even if paychecks occur on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, we use them to calculate the total monthly income because our budget activities are based on monthly income figures. In Marta's case, she gets paid every 2 weeks and she has no other forms of income. Marta's strategy for tracking her income was to add up her pay stubs to determine her monthly income and list them in the income section. So if Marta gets paid $1,000 twice per month, her monthly income, as shown here on her budget, is $2,000. Now let's talk about expenses, which is step 3 of our budgeting process. Expenses refer to the amount of money spent each month on bills and other items. It's helpful to think of expenses in 2 categories, needs and wants. Needs are things that are necessary for your health and well-being, like electricity, transportation, mortgage payments or rent, groceries, and childcare. Wants are things that you can live without, such as dinners at restaurants, beauty products, or lottery tickets. Sometimes a want can turn into a need. For example, a new winter coat can be a want, but if your child outgrows her coat, then a new one becomes a need. So if you take a look at Martha's budget and you look at her needs, she's listed rent at $600, groceries at $200, utilities at $100, her car payment at $200, and car insurance at $120. So her total needs are $1,220 a month. Now let's talk about disposable income. Disposable income is the amount of income left over after paying expenses, which we just identified as her needs. Disposable income is money available to spend on wants, to put in savings, and or to pay down debt. It's possible for the amount of disposable income to be zero, or it may even be negative. Creating and using a budget can help you find ways to make this amount positive in the future. So if we look at Martha's budget, we already know that she has $2,000 worth of income coming in every month. If we take her needs, which is $1,220, and subtract that, and then also subtract her wants of $210, Martha has $570 of disposable income. So let's move on to step 4, which was list savings. Savings refers to money that is put aside for safekeeping, a specific savings purpose, or an emergency fund. Depositing money into an interest-bearing savings account at a financial institution is one way to increase savings even further. So after paying her bills, which are her needs, and spending money on extras, which are her wants, Martha has $570 of disposable income left over, which is what we just talked about. So the next step would be to subtract out Martha's savings. Martha has been putting $100 per month into an interest-bearing savings account. So the amount of Martha's disposable income after her savings would be $470. So it's $570 minus 100 is $470. Now let's talk about step 5, which is list debt. Debt is any amount of money owed to a person or institution. Examples of debt include car loans, credit card balances, and money borrowed from friends and relatives. Earlier in step 3, which was list expenses, Martha indicated that she pays $200 towards her credit card debt and $100 towards her student loans. Keep in mind that loans and debt usually have monthly payments that you must pay. So in Martha's case, her debt is a total of $300, which includes the $200 for her credit cards and $200 and $100 for her student loan payments. So going back to disposable income, we know that after her savings were deducted from her disposable income, she had $470 left. The last step is to deduct her debt, which is $300. So 470 minus 300 equals $170. So if she has $170 left, what are some possible uses for that $170? Martha can put the full amount into savings. She can put the full amount towards credit card or student loan payments. She can spend the full amount on wants if she chooses to, or she can apply money to a combination of savings, debt payments, and wants. So you should now be able to build your budget. Remember, the steps are: step 1, get organized. Step 2, list income. Step 3, list expenses. Step 4, list savings. And step 5, list debts. Thank you for watching the Rho Omega budgeting workshop. I hope you all have a very good day.